it's amazing to do. You can save a ton of money. It's great for the environment. It's great for charity. There's so many wins.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Sugar Mama's 5 Play podcast. I am Canna Campbell. I remember I used to be a huge purchaser of the pre-loved economy, and what led me into the pre-loved market was my love of handbags, in particular designer luxury handbags, because I couldn't afford them. And this was the only way I could have like a Gucci handbag or heaven forbid like a Chanel handbag was to buy pre-loved. And I remember discovering this like world and, purchasing, one or two bags and then sharing with people that I bought them pre-loved, and people were so horrible to me. They were so judgmental. And this, I'm going back like 15, 20 years. So this is to show you how far we have come, because now everyone embraces pre-loved. Like, it's important. It's not just financially, but for the planet as well. So I am so excited to be joined by Faye Delanty, who is the latest author of her new book, Opshopulence. And I have to say, I love this title. Mm-hmm. And we are going to hear about shopping in the pre-loved market, in particular, op shopping, how we are saving money, how we can help save the planet, and really what to do when you walk into an op shop, because I will admit, even I get overwhelmed. And as I say, I've been shopping pre-loved for such a long time. So Faye, thank you so much for coming on today's podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's I was thinking the other day, we kind of go back quite a way too. Like, we've been thrifting together for quite a few years, and I was looking back at some of our YouTube videos and sort of reminiscing on that and just thinking, how great it is, especially someone in your kind of world, to really launch into that pre-love market and show other mums and other women, in your environment, that it's amazing to do. You can save a ton of money. It's great for the environment. It's great for charity. There's so many wins. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, really cool. It's actually really fashionable to say this is, from a thrift shop store, or I bought this pre-love, through whichever platform you prefer. I think there's something really special to say that. My handbags have a story. They've been to different countries that I may have never been to. They've seen things that I would have never been privy to. It's something really special about having pre-loved. And also, I think it comes down to your individuality, because obviously if it's pre-loved, it might be sometimes a little bit rare. So you're not going to sort of walk into a party and someone's going to be wearing the latest dress from the latest high-end store, or even any store. Like you've got a bit of individuality, which I think in a world that we live in is refreshing and important.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the big things I love about it. And I have seen my personal style really expand.
Really?
I mean, I've always been into thrifting. My parents are into it. My dad was always buying antiques for different houses that we lived in. And so I grew up with that. It's in my DNA. But when I really shifted into the gear of it became a necessity, I was living overseas, I didn't have a lot of money, I had to really step it up. But what I noticed was my creativity expanded, my ingenuity, my innovation, my forward thinking, because you can't find 10 of everything like you can in a high street store. You kind of got to be a little bit savvy about it. So it's been wonderful to see how that's really just, opened up a whole new world for me.
So has it taken a while for you to get your eye? Because I've done some serious stalking of your Instagram account for many, many years.
Stalk away.
And I have to say your brooch collection is off the charts. I've peeked into so many things. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. And they're so special and unique. And they're like one of a kind. As you say, you're not going to find it at any, high street store. How long has it taken you to get this far? Can anyone start thrifting like you do?
Absolutely. And I think, as I say, my parents have always really schooled me in the language of fashion.
So you don't need to be born with this talent?
No, I don't think so, because I think it's really just about having an open mind and having fun with it. And thinking about your lifestyle and also thinking about, well, what do I genuinely wear in a day? Like if you're a mum of 4 kids, are you going to want to wear platform heels all day? Probably not. I mean, more power to you if you do. But, like let's be realistic about what you would wear and what's going to suit you, and then start to sort of look for those things. But it can really be overwhelming, and I get that. So I think the best thing to do is just really start simply. But that's why I love brooches, because it doesn't matter what size, shape, age you are, they add that little something. Even to like athleisure, you could put it on your puffer jacket or whatever you want to do. But I think it's those little, starting with accessories, starting with simple pieces, and anyone can dive in.
I love that look of a thick woolen coat.
Yes.
And then just one beautiful large brooch, or maybe 3 little brooches collected together in the corner.
Or if you're me, you do the whole.
Yeah, if you just like
I go
rock,
nuts.
you rock it, but you create your clothing into pieces of art almost. Like it's
that's
exquisite.
very kind.
All right, talk me through the process, because say I have never been into say the Salvation Army or an op shop or a local thrift store. Like I walk in, like where does one start? Like how do you dive in without like running out the front door going, I don't know.
And I so get that. And it is a real concern for a lot of people, because there is stuff everywhere. A lot of the time it's not curated. It's not, sifted through. You've got to really kind of use your muscles and get through the racks. And I really get that. So my advice is just think about your lifestyle, think about what you need and what you would totally use. And I always say, just start with one item. So maybe you need a really nice blazer for work.
Yeah.
Or maybe you need a nice, pleated skirt. Or maybe you're just looking for a beautiful scarf. Just pick one thing.
Okay.
And just go have a look. Just dip your toe in, have a look. Keep open to the magic, because you never know, as you've experienced with me, you never know what you're going to find. Like we found vintage Saint Laurent, we've found, all sorts of stuff.
That was quite incredible. So it would have been, I think, I was just pregnant at the time.
Were.
So it was just over a year ago.
Yeah.
And we met at it was
Rockdale?
Rockdale Salvation Army, which if anyone is in the area, like pop in, it's unbelievable. And I found you, I think, was it a YSL or a Hugo Boss jacket? No,
YSL. And then you found a Hugo as well.
Yeah, so we were able to swap. And these were they would cost $2,500-$3,500 in, say, David Jones. Yep. And I think I paid like $40 or $50 for it. It was unbelievable. Yep. And I didn't go in there expecting that, which is like
that's the magic.
Like the magic of it, and it's such a high.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely incredible. So, all right, say for example, I'm looking for, like, it's wintertime at the moment. Like I'm living in jeans and jumpers. And I'm very picky with my jumpers. They need to be of a certain color palette, certain fabric. They need to be obviously machine washable, ideally, because I have sticky, snotty fingers just all over me at the moment. Like, do I head for a particular section of these? Like, what do I do?
So it really depends on each store. I always shop the whole store. Okay. So I don't just stick to my section. I don't just stick to my size and women's. I'll go look in the men's.
Yeah, which is where we found our fabulous
That's
blazers.
right. And you can get that incredible tailoring for next to nothing.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking for sweaters, I do go look in the men's, because quite often you'll find 100% wool. You'll find that sort of slightly oversized fit, which I think is really great when you're running around, throwing over your leggings, putting over a puffer jacket. It's going to give you some nice layer and texture, but it's still going to look put together. Something I do as well, and I just posted a blog post about it and a video about it on TikTok, was I find sweaters, and sometimes if they're not quite right, I'll have them altered, because that's still going to be cheaper than buying a beautiful Australian wool, sweater from like a mainstream retail store. So I go to a tailor.
I never knew you could get a jumper taken, and I always thought with knitwear that you can't.
Oh no, I have the best tailor. She's amazing. So she's a young lady in Surrey Hills, and I go to her with all my crazy ideas, and she's like, yeah, nothing's a problem. So we cropped it. And I don't know how she did it, because she's a genius and I'm not, but we just cropped it. So then I will layer longer things underneath that. So I'm always keeping an open mind. If I do find something that's almost perfect but not quite, maybe I could tweak it for myself. And look, I know that's probably easier for me because I don't have kids and I'm not running around. But the other thing to do is have a look online as well. So a lot of thrift stores, Salvos included, have online stores now. And you can filter search. So you could type in cream sweater,
or like cashmere
cable
jumper.
knit, cashmere mohair, whatever you want, type it in, see what comes up. As you know, the nature of thrifting, sometimes you might not see it, but I think that's the thing with slow fashion, right? It is slow, but that high and that win when you do find something is
it's so
magical.
good. And this is the thing that's, shopping isn't supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be like an element of mindfulness about it. Like, you are like expressing your inner self through your fashion. I don't want to rush to do that. I want to take my time and do it in a considered way where I'm really comfortable with what I choose to put on. And trust me, like if you saw me right now, I'm in my
you still
activewear.
Look chic.
I don't know if I've like been windblown. But yeah, it's something I want to enjoy, ideally without my children in tow. Because that does not make it pleasurable. But I want to make sure that I'm not wasting my money. I'm buying something I'm really going to feel proud of putting in. I'm actually enjoying the process and the experience. All right, tell me about the hidden gems. Like, where are the sections that you're like, all right, you're gonna have fun in this section. You'll find something here. Like, what are your little secret hacks?
I love the sleepwear section. I'm a big advocate for underwear as outerwear, and I know that sounds strange initially, but for example, I'm inspired by the recent collaboration that Jean Paul Gaultier did with Olivia Roosteg from Balmain. It's Couture Week at the moment, so I'm watching all of that religiously. And so those two have collaborated, which is so iconic. And, Jean Paul Gaultier is sort of famous for the pinstripe shirt, but I've got like a little corset piece over the top.
I'm going to take a photograph of you just because what you are wearing is absolutely incredible. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, like, you look magnificent.
But I just love the kind of challenge of, I was watching these couture shows and I was thinking, how can I find the couture in my closet? And obviously I'm not going to be wearing, a crazy gown. Like I want to make it wearable. I've got sneakers on, but I think you can add those little quirks. So I love looking in the sleepwear section for that reason, because you can find corseted pieces that are beautifully tailored and you can wear them over the top of things.
Also, there's beautiful little camisoles.
That's right.
Delicate
we
lace.
Found you one,
and I love that look of a delicate black lace camisole with, with underneath a blazer.
Beautiful.
With some skinny jeans.
That's
or
right.
Some
or a
leather
gorgeous
pants.
silk slip or a satin slip with a really nice, in summer, a strappy sandal. In winter, boots, a great coat.
Exactly.
Flawless.
It's so flawless. It's timeless. It's classic. It's
comfortable.
And very refined as well with that beautiful lacing. And they're unique pieces that you're not going to find anywhere else.
That's right.
And you're literally picking them up for sometimes literally a couple of dollars.
Oh my gosh, like they're so inexpensive, because I think it was funny, someone said to me on TikTok the other day, shh, don't tell anyone about the sleepwear section. That's my like hidden gem, area. And I was like, oh yeah, sorry, oh whoops. But I get so excited about it because you can just find so many gems there.
Yeah.
For me, the men's section is also gem central.
Jamie from Mademoiselle James, she got me into the men's section but in the stores.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's
so great.
Yeah, it's so good. I have found so many fantastic bargains.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a funny story. I bought a men's shirt. This actually wasn't pre-loved. And bought it. And somehow Tom found it and thinking it was his and put it on. And he's like, this is not my shirt, Canna. And I'm like, no, I know it's not. He's like, whose shirt is this? And he thought I'd been having an affair. This is like, what is another man's shirt doing? And this is before we actually lived together. I'm like, relax, you nutcase. It's actually my shirt. Yeah. And he's like, oh. And then he's trying to wear it. It was obviously just one size too small for him. But he's like, okay. So there you go. I love the men's section.
It's so good.
And also I find it quite reasonably priced. And again, like for the cuts are slightly different, but I like that bulkier look, particularly for this time of the year when it's cold.
Exactly, because you can layer and if you look at the trends, if you look at the runway shows, that oversized look is huge. And the easiest way to get it sustainably and budget friendly is from the men's section at a thrift store. It's easy. Like I found beautiful tailored blazers even on the $2 rack, which is my other favorite section. So always look at the discount rack or the $2 rack. So in Salvo stores, we have a $2 rack and we have a 50% off rack. And I always look there. First of all, because I'm a bit of a weirdo and I like the challenge of really, really inexpensive things. I'm like, how can I make this look bougie? How can I make it look fabulous and expensive and really kind of mess with people's minds, you know? So I love that. But then I always find something amazing. Again, like you, I look for classic pieces. I do have quite a neutral palette. I don't wear a lot of bold colors.
Yeah, I've never seen you in bold.
No, but I get my kicks from, you know, brooches, embellishment, like layering, contrasting, playing with corsetry, playing with men's tailoring. But everything I wear is, like you, quite neutral, because to me, that's the easiest thing to style. And then you can add color, you can add dashes with your accessories. That's right. That's the way I like to dress. But you know,
how would you recommend someone finds their own style?
Okay, for me, it's really been about like researching and learning about things that I love. So when I was writing my book and I wanted to do a chapter about defining your personal style, I kind of amused about that, and I thought, well, how did I do it? And I sort of got to this place where I picked 3 words. And the way that I did that was I just got a huge piece of paper and a big pen, and I just wrote everything that inspires me. Music, art, fashion, culture, colors, nature, whatever. I just put it all down. Sometimes it was a word, sometimes it was a whole sentence. And I just looked at it for a good week. I just kept looking at it and just picking out what was really resonating to me. And then I finally got it down to 3 words, which is timeless, tailored, quirk. And obviously that will change because we change, right? So I don't like to get too stuck in it. But what that does for me is really help me define the shopping process and the styling process. I know I like timeless looks. I know I like tailored pieces, but I got to have a bit of quirk in there.
Yeah.
I got to have something edgy and interesting. And so I will always kind of look for that. So the other thing that really inspires me is making Pinterest boards, collages, looking at magazines, looking to designers, looking to, you know, fashion weeks and couture weeks, and seeing what's going on, but seeing how I can make it every day. So for me, it's been a really lovely process, and I haven't rushed it.
It's a passage, it's a ritual, and it's
right.
something to be honoured and to take your time. And the more you can define, well, this is obviously my personal opinion, the more you can define and refine your personal sense of style, you will save so much money.
So much,
because you will stop that wastage. Like, you will never find in my wardrobe something that still has its tag hanging off.
That's so nice to hear.
And it would horrify me. Like, and to me, you know, I bought a dress, and I can't wait to wear it. I'm so excited. I'm waiting for it to get warm. Yeah. But I've already figured like 5 different ways. I had like a dress up in my bedroom.
Aren't they the best?
They're the best. And
I love that.
And literally, I was in heaven. It was such a like special moment for me. And it was funny, as I was actually taking it off after I'd finished my play session, I was literally taking it off, and it fell, kind of one strap fell. And I was like, oh my God. And I just got a glimpse of it in the mirror. I'm like, hang on, there's a whole other way to style this. And then it like just started all over again. But it's about really enjoying your wardrobe and put like opening up the drawers and looking at everything going, there's nothing here I want to get rid of. I want to wear it. I want to get creative. And, you know, I do these reels on my lifestyle Instagram account at Canna Campbell Official. And, you know, someone messaged me the other day, and I was like, hey, do you realize I'm actually wearing the same items? I'm just showing you how I wear them in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is about shopping mindfully. Like,
I know, I love that about you.
And sure, I enjoy fashion, but I love pre-loved. I love it. And I'll share my top 3 to 5 places where I buy my pre-loved fashion. I'd love it if you can do the same as well.
Yeah.
But it's about, like, I save so much money, and when I do spend, whether it be brand new or pre-loved, and I have to say I get a much more satisfaction from pre-loved. I have zero desire to head to the store again. Whereas I think with a lot of fast fashion, it's this insatiable appetite where you're like, bought something this week, what's in store next week? And you find yourself like scrambling to get back to the store. Like that's an addiction to me. It's a huge waste of time, money, and a damage to the planet. Like I love playing my wardrobe and showing people, okay, well, I'm going to throw these white jeans with a pair of sneakers, and then I'm going to wear them with a high heel next week with a lace camisole the next. Like it's about having fun and as using it as a creative expression. On that subject of the men's section, how do you get your beautiful, amazing, like the presence of your husband is just amazing.
Oh, he's
beautiful. I mean, the pair of you are like this. Like I was trying to explain to Tom, like it's like they're like goddess and gods, like
my gosh,
and I'm like, you've got this like ephemeral, like if that's the right word, like presence about you both. But how, like, did you get him into thrifting? Because I know he loves You know,
loves it.
he's fantastic when he's in your reels and photographs. Like, how did you get him into it?
It was really interesting and again a beautiful process because when I met him, I'll be honest, it was a pretty crazy rainbow situation.
Really? I want to hear.
He's
Tell
so
me.
beautiful, right? And I think, I mean, I'm biased, but he's got beautiful, like, Polynesian features and he's very handsome and he doesn't need a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
his presence is quite incredible. Like, it's almost like he's been here before. Like,
I love that you say that because that's kind of how he talks. He's quite spiritual and I think you're quite tapped into that too, which is lovely to hear. I think he definitely has... he has an awareness and he has a real calmness about him, which Lord knows I need in my life. So it's a wonderful balance. You know, I kind of fire him up and he chills me out. So it's great. But yeah, when I met him, there was a lot going on sartorially. I was like, I won't lie, but I never wanted to change him. I just was like, okay, well, that's him and that's cool. And then the more that we started dating and the more he kind of saw what I was doing, because when I met him, I was just starting my journey with Salvo stores. So he wasn't always is my biggest cheerleader. He was like, yes, you've got to do this. It's such a great mission. And he was really pushing me. So I think he came to work with me a few times and he sort of saw what was going on. And he just said to me one day, can you dress me? And I was like, ding, 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 yes. So we just started playing. And I just said to him, like, let's make a mood board for you. Let's think about, like, who do you sort of, you know, who you inspired by? He loves Elvis. He loves Bruce Lee. He loves American Indian culture. He loves crystals. He loves nature. And because he's Polynesian, he's a real man of the earth and the ocean, right? So he loves rocks and he loves, you know, Uluru and all those kind of earthy tones. So I was like, okay, well, what if we start playing with that and like tone down the rainbow a bit, but add the rainbow in different ways? So he was like, yeah, cool, like just go for it. So we just started playing and then we started thrifting together and he's actually quite clever and he's quite aware of aesthetics. And it's been really interesting because he's kind of come to me with ideas and said, I saw this guy and he had a cravat on. Can we do cravats? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do a cravat. So we just went into my scarf drawer and made him a cravat. And now that's one of his favorite things. So he's been really open to it. And I think it's also because maybe I just empowered him to find his style instead of saying, don't wear that, you look crap. You know, I didn't try to change him. So I think he felt free to explore. Wow. And now I see him get dressed and I'm like, you don't need me. Like, he's just like, he's got it, you know? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I have to say also, for the Salvation Army, to save money, the kids section is unbelievable.
The best. I also shop that, but anyway, that's another story.
Okay. So every time I've gone to film with you at the Salvation Army or I've popped in, the amount of unboxed toys.
Oh my gosh.
Like brand new toys.
Yep.
I'm like, I could buy a year's supply of birthday gifts in the store. And save enough to do a fortune. And, you know, so often the way I'm busy, you know, I'm dropping Rocco off at a kid's birthday, have another gift. Oh my gosh, stop over a store where they'll gift wrap it on the spot. You know, you're racing, rushing. I'm like, why didn't I just come to the Salvation Army, buy 10 different gifts, which are brand new in the box for a couple of dollars each, giving money to this charity and supporting, obviously, the planet. And I can put them in a cupboard. But it is huge. And I have to say, I took Apple with me to the opening of the Bondi Junction Salvation Army. A massive shout out because that is a fantastic store. So for anyone who's in Sydney and looking for great op shops and want to support charity, go to the Salvation Army at Bondi Junction. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's nicely curated. It's quite bougie.
It is. It is beautifully set up. It's very well organised. And Apple got some toys. She bought one for Rocco, one for her baby sister Tiger, and one for herself. And then she got this bright purple Cookie Monster t-shirt. And she picked it out. And I was like, oh, that's too big for you, you know, like, no. And then she was insistent. It is the coolest. It's her Cookie Monster. She wears it at times, pajamas.
I think I saw that on your Instagram, yeah?
Obsessed with, you would have, yeah. She's obsessed with it. It's her favourite. I hate to think that day when she one day does actually outgrow it. Or it's become like a crop top on her. But she adores it. And I love looking at her. I'm like, she's found her own style.
She thrifted it.
She thrifted it.
That's so cute.
And it's bright purple. It's really colourful. It's got like this metallic sort of paint on it.
Yeah,
like
a foil kind
foil,
of.
yeah. And I'm like, it actually is so reflective of her and her personality, which is like loud and wild and strong-willed and this crazy Cookie Monster in it. And it's so beautiful to see that. I can't wait to take her back in there. Yeah. We're just going through a tantrum phase at the moment, so I think she had a tantrum.
I had one of them last week too, so don't worry.
She actually had a tantrum when I took her to the opening, if I remember correctly. But it was so great. So when you're thinking about op shopping, don't just think about yourself. Think about your other family members.
Totally.
And it is unbelievable the little gems you can find. And I was following one of your reels the other day. You found a Coach purse.
Oh yes, that was in Jersey. Oh my gosh, the stores in New York are just insane. They're like supermarkets. So that was a really fun day. My friend and I, who lives in New York, we went to Jersey and we just explored all the thrift stores. And yeah, I was overwhelmed by what I found. Coach, just so many different brands. What else did I find? Oh, there was just so many good things. And I think that's the thing with thrifting. You can thrift the eras, right? So the 90s and Y2K is huge at the moment. And while I'm not going to dress head to toe like, Britney Slave for You styles, but I feel like I really enjoy adding little elements of that because, I remember that time and I feel like it's kind of cool to inject that by way of a little bag like that Coach bag. And it was $11.
Oh my gosh.
My only regret is I didn't buy it.
Oh, really?
Because I'm so... this is the thing people say to me, you must have so many clothes, you must have a huge closet, and it's the complete opposite. I'm so brutal. Like, it's minimal, plus I live in a small inner city apartment, but I don't like a lot of stuff. And I like you, I like to know everything that I have, and I wear it, and I rewear it, and enjoy it.
I want to see everything that I own. I don't want to have things getting lost at the back of a closet. I need to be able to see it.
I had that. It's like
that's so sad when that happens.
Yeah.
Now, talking of seeing stuff like the $12 Coach purse, that would have cost between probably $400 to $600.
Totally.
I've been seeing on social media this new wave of people who actually go to these stores. And I'm sure when I say new wave, it's probably been going on for a really long time, but they go treasure hunting to ops shops and find stuff. And then these people are buying it and then showing people how to and to style it or selling it on then for $100 themselves. Resellers. Unbelievable.
Huge market.
Huge. Unbelievable.
If you've got the patience to do that, it can be a really lucrative job. Absolutely. Because you do have to get in there and hunt. But I think also too, like going to the sort of unassuming stores, going to different areas, like getting out of your area and going somewhere totally random and just seeing what thrift stores there are. I love that. Like the little kind of, holes in the wall, the unassuming ones are quite often the ones that have got the crazy stuff. So,
all right, on that note, as we start to wrap things up, tell me where are your hidden treasures. I know you were like, no, Ken, I'm not sharing that. It's my intellectual property. I'd love to know where, and I'm going to share with you where I like to go, which is not so much op shopping, but more the pre-loved sort of stores and things like that. Where are your hidden treasures?
In Australia or in Sydney, where we live, as you mentioned, I love Rockdale Salvos. I love Tempe Salvos. Because I think both of those stores have a really interesting mix. They have quite a bit of vintage.
Yep.
They have strong men's sections, which excite me, and the sleepwear section is great. And you can find really cool, like kind of rock T-shirts and vintage T-shirts, which give me that little bit of quirk to my style mantra. So I love those two stores. And then I will love getting in the car and heading down to areas like Gosford, West Gosford, Woy Woy. The thrift stores down there are pretty great. But if you're talking secondhand luxury, I look online quite a lot at Vestiaire, The Real Real. There's also quite a few in my area. I live in Paddington. So there's Di Nouveau and there's, what's the other one? Pele, that's right.
You just pinched one of mine.
Oh, there you go. I just stole your material. So they're pretty great.
They are really good. Yeah. If you want luxury, go and visit them. Both stores are pretty much next door to each other. Yes. Grab a coffee from Elementari. That's right. And then take your time as you enjoy exploring through both of those stores in Paddington. They are beautiful.
Right. And then on that same street, one of my dearest friends, Emily, has a store called Eco Love. And she rents and hires and also sells luxury pre-loved. So she's got some great stuff too. I'll have to show you the store because I can see your eyes lighting
Like,
up now.
oh, yes.
Yeah, so she's got a lot of great stuff too, and she has a lot of beautiful brands like Zimmerman that you can hire, which is another really great way to indulge in that circular economy and get that luxury feeling, but you're not keeping it. You're just utilizing it for a little bit.
Also, I'm at a stage in my life where I've got an event coming up towards the end of the year, and I have to either wear black and white or white. I was looking online thinking I need to start getting my head around this and start, budgeting and so forth. I was like, I'm going to rent. I found a website for renting. I was like, I'm just going to do this, and I will hand the dress back and really enjoy not wasting money.
That's right. And they clean it for you. Yeah, and it's just the easiest thing.
Return envelope to send it back. It's fantastic.
And that's the thing. In reality, how often would you wear that dress if you bought it?
That's the thing. I started to think, well, hang on, if I buy that dress online, I need to think of 5 events or occasions where I know I'm going to wear it. Otherwise, I won't buy it. I'm pretty strict.
I love that you do that. That's so conscious. That's awesome.
I think it's responsible financially and for the planet. And we live in Sydney. I don't have a massive walk-in wardrobe. Yeah. But I need to think about the space. I need to be respectful of it, and I don't want my clothes crushed and damaged. No. I want to enjoy it. The places I love, so for, I guess, pre-loved, I absolutely love Trading in Style. Ooh. They're on Instagram. They're huge. Okay. And you can find all sorts of, they're not the quirky pieces, they're more the Zimmermans, you might find a Chanel handbag. Okay. So there's Trading in Style. Then I love good old eBay.
Totally.
I bought, and you'll love this, these Chanel ballet flats, hot pink with gold. Love. Because I'm a very neutral color palette, so they're my one. That's my pop. Yeah. For $260, including postage.
I mean, that's insane.
They retail for $1,250. So.
And I love that you're open to footwear too. Because I did a recent TikTok about this, and I put it out to people. Let's talk about secondhand shoes. How do you feel about it? And I don't have a problem either. I mean, I'm still discerning. I won't buy something that looks really worn.
Yeah.
But quite often you will find brand new or lightly worn, and we're talking probably once.
Yeah.
And to me, there's nothing wrong with it.
But also, if you're worried, take them to a bootmaker and get them to resole them and clean them up for you if you're really worried. But these had barely been worn. And because I was, I steered away from the traditional black, which I probably would have paid maybe $400 to $500 in the traditional black Chanel ballet flat. I went with a colour that not many people would think to go with. And I mean, this colour, I was so gravitated towards it because normally I'm such a neutral colour.
But that's so great with neutrals.
Yeah.
What a great pop. I love that.
It's so much fun. So I love eBay. Obviously, Vestiaire and the Real. I love those as well. And then there's the local stores and Double Bay, which is really interesting because it's quite an affluent area, Double Bay. There would be at least 5, if not more, secondhand pre-love shops.
I did not know that.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you need to go for a little cruise around Double Bay.
I need to go for a little cruise.
Wow. Yeah, one is actually right on, I think it's a cross street. Anyway, if you reach out to me, I will give you the addresses of all the places. And these places are packed, and they have sales as well, and they're very, very high-end pieces. But it shows you, everyone's jumping on board with the secondhand economy.
Totally.
To selling stuff, to buying stuff. Yeah. Obviously, you're picking up some cash when you do go to sell stuff, and then you're saving money when you go to buy stuff. These stores have incredible stuff as well. Obviously, it's a little bit more expensive because it's higher end, but and then I have to say, Bondi Junction Salvation Army is fantastic.
Yeah, it is great, and they have some great designer pieces.
Yeah.
Something I'll do with the Salvo's online website too is I'll just type in the search bar. I'll type in designers' names. I'll just type in Dior, Vivienne Westwood, and just see what comes up. And quite often I see stuff. And I've found beautiful Fendi shoes, Sergio Rossi. I've found Victor and Rolf. So when you search those particular names as well on secondhand sites, it's interesting what comes up.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And that's what I do with eBay. I will, for example, I know that I'm a size 38 Chanel ballet flat. So I'll literally jump on eBay and type in Chanel ballet flat size 38. And there I have 70 different colours and prices to choose from. It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
And really it's because I know my size, and I know I'm very familiar with that shoe because I've been wearing it for years and years. It's part of my signature style. Look, so for everyone who's listening, I highly recommend going and grabbing a copy of Faye's new book, Op Shopulence. It's got all the hacks and tips to follow to help you. And if you're new to thrift shopping, take it slow and steady, as Faye recommends. Don't try and dress yourself in head to toe, pre-loved clothing. Just maybe start with a beautiful brooch or a scarf, or maybe a cashmere jumper, or a t-shirt, or just something really simple. And take it home, connect with it, dress it up, dress it down, see how you feel. Also enjoy for that moment the savings that you create for yourself. If you knew you were going to buy, say, a $100 jumper and you buy a $10 jumper, go and do yourself a favor and put that $90 difference towards one of your financial goals, so that money really counts. But feel proud, and when someone asks you, where did you get it, make sure you tell them it's pre-loved. I do that with so much pride.
Amen. Yeah. I do too. I love it.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you think of this podcast if you want to hear more hacks and tips. And I will do a massive shout out to Faye's Instagram account, which is amazing. It's like not only her clothes and her outfits are a form of art, but also I feel like your reels are just so much fun. Like they're so enjoyable to watch. Like I watch, it says watch again. I tick watch it. I push the button watch.
That's so lovely to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. I will chat with you again on next Monday morning as per usual. But thank you for listening to Sugar Mama's Fireplay Podcast. Ciao for now.